Hello everyone, I'm Nevita Saha. I'm an assistant professor and occupational therapist from the Department of Occupational Therapy at Yenepoya deemed to be University. Today we will be discussing occupational therapy management of Parkinson's disease. The specific learning objective for this session is to describe the role of occupational therapy across the early, middle and late stages of Parkinson's disease. Before we start the session, this is what you need to know. Firstly, you need to know the prevalence, pathophysiology and clinical picture of Parkinson's disease. Then you need to have a good knowledge of prognosis and the medical management of Parkinson's disease. Finally, you need to know in detail how to perform an occupational therapy evaluation of a client with Parkinson's disease. Before we move on to the management, let us discuss the stages of Parkinson's disease based on the modified Hone and Yahr scale. The first stage is unilateral involvement only. After that comes unilateral and axial involvement as well. Stage 2 is bilateral involvement without impairment of balance, and after that comes mild bilateral disease with recovery on a pull test. This is what a pull test looks like. After that, stage 3 is mild to moderate bilateral disease. There will be some postural instability and the patient is physically independent. Stage 4 is severe disability but still able to walk or stand unassisted. And stage 5 is wheelchair bound or bedridden unless the patient is aided. Firstly, in general, let's discuss the role of the occupational therapist. The occupational therapy management depends on the stage of the Parkinson's disease. In general, an OT provides compensatory strategies, client and family education, environmental and task modifications, and helps in community involvement. Exercise is provided in the earlier stages because of the neuroprotective, neurorestorative, and disease-modifying effects of exercise. Some challenges that OTs face is inconsistent referrals to OT services. Referrals are also made when the disease in the patient has progressed to later stages. But we must remember that OT intervention has showed effectiveness in improving patient satisfaction in ADLs. Firstly, let's discuss the occupational therapy management in the early stages of Parkinson's disease. First and foremost, the occupational therapist will develop an occupational profile and they will establish priorities. They may use the Canadian Occupational Performance Measure or COPM, and the focus of occupational therapy will be to retain a sense of self and normalcy in the clients and to help the clients develop habits and routines to foster participation even as the disease progresses. Then the occupational therapist will also help client and caregiver education about the disease. The client and family should be informed of community resources and support groups. Dependence on family members in ADLs can be stressful for the family, and support groups help family members adjust to changing roles. Next, working memory and executive function were found to be affected even during the early stages of Parkinson's disease. And this led to reduced activity along with motor dysfunction and depressive symptoms. Hence, the occupational therapist should help the client to develop strategies and to support client participation in their desired occupations. To address tremors, modification of household items can be done. For example, built-up handles for eating, as shown in the first picture. Then the occupational therapist can introduce writing utensils, as shown in the second picture, because handwriting, as you know, becomes small and difficult to read. And another example is modified clothing fasteners as shown in the third picture using Velcro. Next, the occupational therapist can start time management techniques. For example, signing checks and forms and paying bills, doing written work. These all activities should be completed soon after taking levodopa. Next, energy conservation techniques like wearing Velcro or slip-on shoes. The occupational therapist should consider energy conservation techniques even in the early stages of Parkinson's disease. Hand function activities should be provided from the early stages of Parkinson's disease. Next, home environment modifications can be given. For example, removing loose rugs to prevent trips, slips and falls, and decreasing obstacles by keeping furniture close to the wall. As you can see the difference in the two pictures, the first picture has ample space and the passage is clear. Whereas in the second picture, it's an environment which is more prone to falls. The client and the family member should be made familiar with this new arrangement of the home environment in the early stages of Parkinson's disease, so that in the later stages, when the patient will anyway need these changes, they will be habituated with this environment. Chairs should have armrests to allow the client to push up from the chair to stand, as shown in the first picture. And the second and third pictures show bath and toilet railings and a raised toilet seat which can be provided within the home. To address fatigue, the client should be helped to develop a habit of taking frequent breaks during the day. Then the occupational therapist can perform a work evaluation to assess safety risks and potential hazards. Work simplification techniques can be provided. Ergonomic modification for the work site can be done. The tools can be modified which the client uses in their work, and the client can opt for reducing the number of their work hours. Next, participation in physical activity should be encouraged, like for example, aerobic exercise, stretching, resistance training. The occupational therapist should help the client establish a daily exercise routine, which should include stretching for full range of motion resistance exercises, neuromotor balance training and aerobic exercise, preferably for 5 to 10 minutes a day, daily. And the exercises should include alternating movements from various planes. Other techniques and strategies can be relaxation techniques, controlled breathing and pursed lip breathing. The client can participate in fall prevention programs and yoga in group therapy. One of the exercise program is the LSVT Big Exercise Program, an example of which is shown in the GIF below. As you can see, these movements have alternating movements in all the planes. Now we move on to the middle stages of Parkinson's disease. Here, gait impairment progresses. So, rhythmic auditory stimulation through the help of music may be beneficial. Dancing has also shown to be beneficial, and in addition to dancing as a physical activity, it also provides a social environment for the patient. To address akinesia, the occupational therapist can instruct the client to use a rocking motion to begin movement activities. Rocking forward and backward a few times while seated can produce the momentum needed to rise from a chair. Impaired execution of skilled sequential movements occurs. This can impair the ability to perform personal care and household tasks. The occupational therapist can help the client with external cues. So visual cues and verbal prompts can be provided in the client's natural environment to help them to perform personal care and household tasks. Rehearsal of movements can also be provided before performing the ADLs. Dysphagia and drooling occur in these stages. This causes embarrassment and restricts social engagement. Oral motor exercises can help the patient. Education regarding food selection can help the patient, and the occupational therapist can help clients and caregivers alter food consistencies. The Parkinson's patient can benefit from occupational therapy group sessions. This can minimize the impact of the movement disorder which it has on functional activities. It can reduce the impact of postural instability during performing ADLs, and it can improve the perception of quality of life. The occupational therapist can help the client to access community mobility and support programs. These community mobility services can help to decrease the dependence on the family members and thus reduce the caregiver burden. Finally, we will discuss the occupational therapy management in the last stages of Parkinson's disease. Here, the movement disorder and rigidity can cause the client to stop performing activities of daily living like grooming and dressing. Depression additionally decreases quality of life. Hence, the occupational therapist can provide some home environment modifications. Environmental control units becomes very important. For example, a switch operated television or radio operated by light touch. Even though the client cannot perform basic ADLs, still they can participate by selecting preferred television or radio programs, control room lighting, and operate a computer by using minimal motor action. Remember that voice activated units may not be as helpful because of decreased vocal volume from the patient at these stages. Now let's summarize. The occupational therapy role involves compensatory strategies, education, task and environmental modification, exercise programming, and community involvement. In the early stage, the occupational therapy may involve maintaining roles and routines, managing tremors, handwriting, fatigue, involve ADL modifications, home safety, cognitive strategies, caregiver education, and physical activity. During the middle stage, gait training using rhythmic cues like music, movement initiation like rocking, sequential movement rehearsal, dysphagia management, and group therapy can benefit the patient. During the late stage, rigidity needs to be addressed, ADL participation is reduced, and depression occurs. So home modifications like environmental control units and assistive technology for providing autonomy to the patient can help the patient. In general, the occupational therapy should focus on maximizing independence, safety, occupational engagement, and improving quality of life across all stages of Parkinson's disease. All of this information has been taken from Pedretti's Occupational Therapy Practice Skills for Physical Dysfunction 9th edition. I suggest you refer to additional articles for more information and the latest advances in occupational therapy management for Parkinson's disease. Thank you.